Now, let's talk about what kinds of fat you should be talking about when you're having healthy fat in a meal. So we've done other videos on this. For those of you who have watched other videos, you know that one of the things I say over and over and over again is that food quality is far more important than food quantity. And I still 100% believe that. But it's important to know here, when we're talking about how much you should have of these particular things, that we're talking about specific types of oils that you can have. So, take something like ghee or butter. So these are going to be kind of the healthier fats that we recommend for people in terms of stuff that should be the staples really of their cooking oils on a day-to-day basis. So the two main shelf-stable ones at room temperature are going to be ghee and butter. So ghee is just clarified butter, butter with any sort of whey and casein removed, or without, it typically has very little in the way of lactose. So it's basically just purely dairy fat, or just regular old Kerrygold butter, and then coconut oil. So these two are both the main shelf-stable fats, the fats that are solid at room temperature, and they are also the main saturated fats. Like if you look at their fatty acid composition, they're more saturated than not, and we've talked about in other videos why that is not a problem health-wise. The other two main oils would be your avocado and your olive oil. So it's not that there aren't others, there can be, but those are the two main ones that you want to focus on. So when you're having avocados and olive oil, you want to keep in mind that there's going to be a difference when it comes to cooking versus more cold uses. So with ghee and butter, those are going to be more the higher heat uses. Same thing with avocado oil. With coconut and olive oil, you can still use them for cooking, but they're going to be kind of a lower level of heat compared to something like the 500 degrees you would get in ghee and butter and avocados slash avocado oil. Now again, there are other oils. There are things like canola oil and grapeseed oil and other things that can be used, but in terms of the staples that we recommend, these are going to be the main ones that you're going to want to focus on. And the other thing to say is that when you're having a meal, the main healthy fat component for most situations is going to be some sort of oil. It's going to require some sort of cooking or drizzling on veggies. These other ones can be used, but they're not the main ones. So that's oils. Let's talk about dry fats, quote unquote dry fats. So these are going to be things like avocados, things that you can take with you portably. You could cut up and you could have them as guacamole, you could have them as half an avocado slice, something like that. Coconut products, things like coconut butter, coconut flakes, technically coconut milk, even though it wouldn't be a dry fat per se. That would be more kind of a portable fat that you could take with you that's not technically an oil. Nuts and seeds, so macadamia nuts, hazelnuts, olives, things like that. These are all going to be fats that you can take with you. So these things are important to know because, again, the vast majority of the time, the fats that you'll be using will be oils of one sort or another, but that becomes a problem when you don't have the ability to cook or you're out somewhere and you don't have them with you. So in those cases, you could bring some olives with you, some macadamia nuts, some pecans, some avocados, some coconut flakes, things of that, excuse me, that nature. Lastly, quality protein. So remember, like I said, your fat is not just going to come from added fats like oils or even dry fats. It's also going to come from your quality protein. Almost every piece of quality protein that you are going to have in a meal, unless it is ridiculously lean, something like a boneless, skinless chicken breast, or I don't know, wild venison or something like that, is going to have some fat. It's going to. So beef, going to have some fat. Pork is certainly going to have some fat. Poultry, depends on the type. Dark meat, duck, going to be a little bit more. White meat, a little bit leaner. And then of course, fish and seafood, depending on the kind, but generally speaking, they're going to have some fat. So these would be other ways to get your quality fats. And of course, it's going to be important to remember to add these into the equation when you are calculating your total fat. So to recap, in terms of what kind of fats you want to have, the vast majority are going to come from healthy oils. These would be things like ghee and butter and coconut. These would be your main solid at room temperature fats. And your main liquid at room temperature fats would be avocado oil and olive oil. Again, for high heat cooking, ghee and butter and avocado, ghee and avocado oil are going to be your two best. And then for kind of medium, lower heat would be coconut oil, butter, and olive oil. For your dry fats, the portable ones, these are things like avocados, coconuts, nuts and seeds, and olives. And then lastly, for your healthy fats, quality protein is going to have some healthy fats, so you're going to want to be sure to incorporate this when you're calculating your healthy fat. Okay, so that's officially it for what kind of healthy fat you should be consuming.